All right, should be live right now. All right, this is the brother Gmsdallas out of Great Millstone, Atlanta.
And I'm the brother Sha'ar out of Great Millstone, Dallas.
All right,
Shalom.
first and foremost, we want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Yahweh,
Yahweh
Bahashem,
Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Hashem
Bahashem,
Rakadash.
Rakakadash.
Khan, Shalom, double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all Akim that are pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, coming at y'all with a quick lesson, Lord willing, it'll be edifying. All right, we're gonna go into the little things we take for granted. All right, and going into the day of the Lord, okay, we take a lot of things that we have right now that are readily available and accessible for granted. For instance, going to the store and being able to eat every time you're hungry, or running water, having heated water, having deodorant, toothpaste, and what do you call it, toiletries and things of that nature. We have all those things, right now, but going to the day of the Lord, okay, we may be nomadic. We may not have a steady shelter. Okay, we may not have convenience. We may not have things at readily available at our convenience. And this is just something that we have to meditate on going into that day, because we just can't get in that mind frame of being comfortable and we have to consider everything that we're going into. All right, so we can start with Amos 5 and 20.
Amos 5 and 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you, brother. One sec. All right, so this is the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 20. And it reads, "Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? I despise your feast days, and I will not smell of your solemn assemblies."
So it says, actually, Salakia, let's start at 18. Yeah.
Okay. It says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
That's right.
And before you.
The wicked, that's really talking about the wicked, or a lot of these Christians, they think that the day of the Lord is going to be glorious, and so-called Jesus is going to come down and hand out lollipops and things of that nature, but it says,
right.
It says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. Keep going.
Come. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light.
That's right. Yeah, so it says, to what end is it for you? So, it ain't going to be good for you, and that's talking about the wicked, because for the elect, the elect is going to make it through. All right. But it says, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. So we're going into a time of darkness, and that's why I say we have to consider all the things all the aspects that darkness comes with, Hey, if you had anything you want to say or bring out, brother, you got it.
Yeah, I just thought about a precept I want to bring out really quick, and as I'm looking for it, I definitely did have just a point I wanted to make when it came to that, man. Like what the Lord is putting us through right now is a phase where we're spiritually getting built up, we're spiritually getting strengthened. All right, and Satan's throwing little things our way to try to keep us down in the faith, but ultimately what the Lord is doing, the bigger picture is our integrity is getting built up. So as when this day comes, we'll be made more as men and be able to handle these things. And what's us being men of the Lord, Lord, when we continue to endure right now, speaking as one of the hopeful elect, we know what's coming. We know it's going to be hard to eat. We know it's going to be hard to drink. We know Esau is going to push this mark of the beast. It's a lot of things that are coming within the near future that a lot of these, like you said, a lot of these people that really don't believe, pursuing to what we read in Amos 5 and 18, a lot of these people aren't going to be ready for it. But right. Yahweh Shai is getting us ready for these things. And what he's doing is he's allowing our spiritual eyes to be open to see the little things that really matter so we can appreciate it and really know the little things as he's saying, which they're not really little things, but he'll present them in small details and he'll give us eyes to see that so we'll be able to take heed and keep it in our spiritual Rolodex so we can actually apply this when that day really comes. The stuff that he says. But as the brother's going into, the day that's approaching very soon is a day of darkness. It's a day of death. All right. It's a day of judgment that's taking
That's
place.
right.
You got these Christians that think that the Lord is going to come down riding on a unicorn, handing out lollipops and cotton candy, giving out high fives, when that's not the case. All right. And
Right.
if you're a person that reads the Bible, common sense says that's not the case. Because when has the Lord ever visited a place and it was glorious? Oh, I want to say this has always been glorious when he visited a place, but I'm going to reword it. When has the Lord ever visited a place and everybody was laughing and smiling? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You read about it in Egypt. Death was involved. You read about it around the time of Abraham, with Sodom and Gomorrah. Death was involved. All right. You read about it in the time of Noah, when the Lord flooded the earth. Death was involved. All right. So it's never been anything just easy to comprehend. Even as men of the Lord looking at it, they was like, damn. When Ezra received the visions, he said, what was in those days?
Right.
So what's coming is very severe. And we got to make sure our spirits are right within that day. And we need to focus on all the little things the Lord is showing us so we can be ready for that. All right. I did have something I wanted to pull up in Daniel 12. And this
You got
is that we commonly bring out. But I mean, as we get closer to the day, things like this need to be stressed more and more, because when Esau pushes this chip, it's really going to be a true test of our integrity, a true test of our faith, to really see, are we willing to be afflicted for the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. But this is
right.
chapter 12, verse 1. It says, in the time shall Michael stand up, great prince, stand up for the children of thy people. And that's the lead archangel. Okay. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And that goes hand in hand with Amos 5:18, where it talks about, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, for the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. That day is coming soon. And it talks about a day that's never. All right. And that's not just talking about the nukes, man. You know, that's talking about the buildup before the nuclear missiles, because it says time of trouble. If it's a nuclear missile, man, it ain't really going to be too much time. I mean, it's going to be trouble, but everybody's going to be dead pretty much, except the elect. But when it goes into trouble, affliction, people ain't going to be able to eat. All right. It's going to be all chaos and hell on these streets. All right. You equate it to the 70 AD and also the time of Antiochus. Those are times of trouble when Jake was afflicted. Even when the king of Syria had cut off our resources, when he had cut off the resources of Samaria, when you read about that in 2 Kings 6, that was a time of trouble because Jake was eating their children. You know, and all this is coming back, bro, but all of it's going to come back at the same time and heavier. So these are things we got to consider, you know.
That's right.
So I'm going to continue, and then you got it, brother. It says, and as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone shall be found written in the book. And who is that? That's the elect. They're the only ones that are going to be found written in the book that's going to be delivered. And that's a small number of people. And it's not promised that we're those men. Now, the elect's promised, but we don't know if we're those men. So that's why it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. And that's why it's important for us to fear the Most High. Because what he's bringing to this place is very severe. It's going to be terrifying for real. You know, but we got to make sure we keep our integrity so we can walk uprightly when that day approaches. And we look at the little things and really take advantage of the little things the Lord shows us, because those little things are really big things. They're little to the average eye because people aren't taught to look at those little things. But he gave us eyes to see. You got it, Art.
That's right. Hey, that's exactly right, bro. You know, going into this time, man, you know, we have to come with a level of sincerity and you know, seriousness, man, because you know, you have to consider everything, you know, that you're going into, you know, and like you said, you know, the things that we may think is little now, it's actually big things. That's what we're gonna realize is the necessities, because that's what it's all boiling down to is your bare necessities. It's like the Jungle Book, you know. But you got the bare necessities, man. a lot of this stuff, you know, are just extra stuff, you know, our extra clothes and stuff, and you know, what do you call it? Accessories, but it's another word I'm looking for. I mean, I just use that word accessories, like different things that really have no value to us. All right, all that stuff is gonna be thrown out, and it's gonna come down to what do I really need? Okay, which number one, you need the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Number two, all right, faith, of course, and you know those are the spiritual things. But on a carnal level, you need food, water, shelter. You know, and that's what it's all gonna boil down to. You know, all right. I got a quick precept. This is Hebrews 10:38. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul have no pleasure in him. So the key point being the just shall live by faith. All right. So we, like I said, we may not have running water. We may not have the things that we're accustomed to having, you know, but it says the just shall live by faith, meaning, you know, all we have to do is have faith, and the Lord is going to see us through. We're gonna be able to sustain it. Okay, the scriptures also say the Lord shall not give you more than that which you are able. So, you know, the things that we're going into through the Spirit, okay, the elect is going to be taken care of. You know, ultimately, you got it, bro.
That's right. God, you read it in Hebrews 11:6, and it says it's impossible to please the Most High without faith. So how much more can you apply this as that day approaches and as that day is coming? When that day is presented in front of you right there, that's going to be like, boom, what are you going to do? Your back is against the wall. Are you going to fold, or are you going to believe that I am? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to believe that he is? You know what I'm saying? When you go into that as well, it says he is a rewarder to them that diligently seek him. Okay. And I mean, when you go into diligently, that really means to investigate. And you look at the men of old, and they were never confounded that trusted him. And a lot of those men received that glorious great name and weren't confounded because when the time of trouble and perils hit, they walked in it with boldness. You know what I'm saying? Look at David. You know, Goliath was in front of him. David didn't take up no shield. He didn't take up no armor. He put the sword down and gathered 5 stones and said, "What's up?" You know what I'm saying? You look at Elijah around the time of, I mean, man, there's so many things to go into when it came to him. You look at his walk, you know what I'm saying? When he was in the threat of imminent death, when Jezebel was sought to kill him, pretty much and sent men after him, he fled, and he didn't eat nothing. And he thought he was going to die. He laid down like, hey, man, this is it was meant for me. I'm going to die. And an angel fed him right then and there when he woke up. There was bread sitting there and there was water. And then he was able to fast for 40 days after that, have strength, and he received that revelation of the rest of the prophets not being dead, man. On Mount Sinai. You know, so there's numerous examples of men that actually went through it, but they were really proven when the time of adversity really hit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to consider. Okay, now of course we're going through these things and the Lord looks at it, but he's a rewarder to you that's if you seek him. All right, if you just believe that he is and know that he's there with you, that he's in the ship with you, he's going to reward you with that, and he's going to show you little clues. All right, he's going to show you what. Again, I'm going to say it. They're not little clues, but I'm going to just word it like that because they're little to the average eye. But he's going to show you clues, and he's going to show you things which shows that he's there, and it's going to inspire you to want to keep fighting and keep walking. Because it'll be times when you'll feel down and out and be like, man, dang, I feel weak. I don't know if I can make it. Not saying that it's right to have that thought process, but the flesh is going to just, the flesh and demons will try to speak to you and have you thinking that, you know? And while that happens, the Lord will speak to you there at the time. For real, brothers. He'll do that. You know what I'm saying? I got an account I'm going to bring out really quick, brother.
You got it, bro.
This is in 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1. All right, and this goes into our forefather Elijah, right? And I'm just going to read it. And it says, and Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, and said unto Ahab, as Yahweh, power of Israel, liveth, before I stand, there shall not be drawn nor rain. I'm sorry, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to thy word. All right, and when you really just go into that, that's a huge deal. I mean, you look at our society now, if it's not rain, if it's no rain for a month or whatever, it's going to suck. But Esau's
Hmm.
technology, he tries to recreate everything so they'll feel like they're good. But when you go to the ancient world, we needed rain. We were farmers. We were
Yep.
husbandmen. Like that was a huge deal because if it was no rain, there was no food. There was no food. There was no cattle to produce food or labor. You know what I'm saying? Labor help labor in the field. You know, it was a domino effect. We
Yep.
needed rain, man. It was important. You know, so he told Ahab that there shall not be no rain. All right, so that was a big deal because that affected our lives. This goes
Yep.
into a famine. Okay. And it says, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Get thee hence and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. A brook is a little stream, just a little stream of water between rocks and crevices, a little brook, you know what I mean, where you can actually drink from. And, you know, it's highly mineral water you can drink from, you know, help to sustain us. Okay. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. All right.
Mm.
Now you think about it like this. Of course, Elijah was close to the Lord, but these are little things the Lord did to keep Elijah sustained while the famine had hit. Right? Who, like, for real. But even before this truth, when we were in the world, you see a raven fly in front of you and drop some food, you're gonna think like, ugh, I ain't gonna eat that. Like the heck, it was in a bird's mouth. You know what I'm saying? But that was a little sign or a huge sign the Lord had did to show us, hey, I'm here for you, man. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Boom, I'm gonna send a raven for you. Gonna send you down some meat for you. You're gonna eat. People nowadays will walk past a little stream or a brook, and their mind is so polluted, thinking that the water in there is filthy. When actually, that's some of the best water you can actually drink, because it's alkaline based, and you have rocks filtering it, which the actual minerals from the rocks gets poured into the water, which is better for you. But you look at Jake now, they're like, yeah, I ain't about to drink that. You know, when spiritual men, we look at these things like this is actually the good stuff to drink. You know, so just use that as an example. The Lord had communicated with Elijah, and as there was a famine that was going on, the famine took 3.5 years, and he sustained him in little ways like that. Now that's just an example, one example, but as the day approaches, you don't think the Lord ain't gonna show His men signs like that, man? You don't think that we don't think that's gonna happen? You read it in Matthew the 5th chapter where He says, you know, they shall starve, but my servants shall eat. They shall be thirsty, but my servants shall drink. So how is
That's the
that going to
spirit.
happen? This is an example right here. You got it?
Yeah, that's the spirit. I got that precept. Yep.
Okay, might as well pull it out. The Spirit called it. That's beautiful, brother.
Con,
And you got it, brother, for breaking it down. You got it, huh?
con. This Isaiah 65:13. Thus saith the Lord, power. Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. And that's talking about the wicked. It says,
Mm-hmm.
behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So there's going to be that dividing line where the Lord is going to take care of his servants. He's going to take care of the elect. All right. But the 2/3 on the flip side, all right, they're going to be asked out, you know, because they haven't been preparing themselves spiritually. They haven't been, you know, hearkening to the voice of the Lord, you know.
That's right. That's right, brother. Did you have another precept you wanted to bring out?
Matter of fact, I'm going to keep going down a little bit more.
Okay.
It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, vexation of spirit. So like I said, you know, especially in that day, the elect is going to be rejoicing, man, because we're gonna be almost out of here. You know, we're gonna be excited because all the prophecies that you know we've been telling you people about through the spirit of Yahweh El Shai is gonna come to pass. You know, like the brother Elder Kasat Magan. Okay, he actually had a vision, you know, and he had a vision of basically martial law. And basically, he said the elders and apostles and other brothers, like it was some troops shooting at them, but the elders and apostles, you know, they were sitting to the side and they were calm, you know, just calm, you know. And he said through the spirit at first, you know, he kind of ran or whatever, but then once he saw them brothers was calm, all right, then the spirit kicked in and he was calm as well. You know, so that's just a dream that brother had, but that's the spirit that the Lord is going to put on the elect of just being calm, being more joyous in that day, because it's like we're gonna rejoice in the fact that the Lord is with us. Like you said, the Lord is gonna show us signs. All right, He's gonna show us many things through the Spirit. You know.
Right.
You got it, bro.
That's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. And we have to really take these things into consideration when brothers have visions like that and do these things, man. Like, the Lord is with us, bro. And like, that really has to be heavily meditated on, because the time that we're in right now, brothers are feeling this hurt. Brothers are feeling this affliction, man. Like, we're being sifted. You know what I'm saying? With that being the case, as Yahweh told Peter, hey, I pray, Satan's trying to sift you, but I prayed for you. You know what I'm saying? That's happened to every last one of us. And it's happening more than before. Just gonna be honest, it's happening more than before. But we have to really consider this and think, actually, this is like boot camp. And these things are meant to happen right now, but needs to happen now. Because the time that's approaching soon, we'll be ready for it. Well, Lord willing, of course, you know what I'm saying? It's glory to glory, as the scriptures say. But I'll say this, we're being built up to be able to withstand that day more and more, to be able to stand in that day more and more, you know? Now, I do want to bring this precept out in Isaiah 33. And I had it pulled just a second ago, but I flipped the page.
Fine.
But it's
You got it, bro.
of Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay, so what's the wisdom and knowledge? This word ultimately. And that ultimately goes into us being able to apply the things that we've read within these scriptures, knowing the time that's approaching. Apply these things that was read, utilize the things that the ancient men went through when you read about it, applying that to within ourselves, and watch how they trusted in the Lord as that day came. All that goes into wisdom and knowledge, keeping us stable as that time comes. Because you look at these men didn't stress. These men was like, look, he's here. You know what I'm saying? They believed he is, and the Lord used them. They're men, they're prophets. Is that not us as well? Did not the Lord take care of them? So he's going to take care of us if we believe, if we continue to walk. Now, we know that's something that's easier said than done, but I mean, damn, still got to apply it. Whether it's easy said or done, you got to pull the trigger and do it, And that's something that these things we have to really consider. And we can't forget the fact that we are still a sacrifice at the end of the day, man. So whatever we go through, don't take it as, oh, damn, man. Oh, the Lord's doing this to me. Man, you'll sacrifice, man. These are things we talk about constantly. You put through the fire. It's the baptism. It has to happen this way. There's no other way. It's a straight gate. So we want to make sure that we're acceptable and worthy, because if the Lord strictly judged us of our sins, none of us would stand. And we got to consider that. So within looking at that, we got to consider we really ain't worthy. So the things that befall upon us, and as this day approaches, the things that we're going to experience, we have to understand that, hey, the Lord feeds us cool, but at the end of the day, we're still a sacrifice. And if we walk with that mindset of knowing that, we're a sacrifice, and Lord willing, we continue to endure, having your integrity, keeping your integrity, to be more of a rain of blessings that'll fall upon you. Because you're standing out. Lord's looking at you. Believe he's there. You read about all those ancient men, from the ancient prophets all the way to the ancient apostles that walked with Yahweh. They weren't walking around with smiles when they faced all the goddamn time. They rejoiced when they caught hell, but they weren't just, oh, yeah, like you see in church, man. No,
Right. Yep.
They knew that imminent death was always around the corner. And King David even said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. So that instead of that being applied as just a verse that people get tattooed on their arm, you know what I'm saying? That's something that we have to consider to ourselves. Like, man, this is the valley of the shadow of death. Death follows this place. All right. So with that being the case, it ain't going to be always patty cakes and roses. It's going to be things we're going to have to experience, but the Lord is with us within that, man. All right. That's why in that same chapter, he said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When you go into that word want, it means lack. All right. So if we believe the Lord is our shepherd, if believe he clearly said, "You shall not lack." The Lord is my shepherd. You believe that you ain't gonna lack. You know, especially as that day approaches. He's your shepherd. You serve him. He's gonna sustain us, and that's all that matters. That's all that we need to know. Even when we in our direst times, call on to him. He'll give you what you need. Again, I'm gonna say it. Hebrews 11:6. It's impossible to please him without faith. That's the key component. That's the key source to know that he's with you. You don't see it, and you don't see him, but you know he's there. And that's what he looks at. And he's going to by default. He promised it. He's gonna keep us sustained, and we ain't gonna lack. We ain't gonna lack if we believe these things. You know? You got it, Doc.
Yeah, that's right, bro. Hey, well said, bro. You know, that's the spirit. This is Psalm 3:3. But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter of mine head. So when we go through these things, you know, when we have our head down, you know, the Lord is basically gonna lift us up. You know, he's gonna shine his face upon us. You know, verse 4, I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. Selah. It says, I laid down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. And, you know, going back to the title of this lesson, it says the little things, you know. And it says, this verse 5, it says, I laid me down and slept. I waked, for the Lord sustained me. So he was thankful for the Lord waking him up alone. You know, these are the things we have to thank the Lord for giving us the breath of life, for giving us his spirit, you know, for you know, we have to be thankful for everything that we have, you know, because it can be easily taken away like this, you know, and going into these times, like you were saying, you just got to have faith that the Lord is going to see you through, and he's going to ultimately give you the necessities and you know, things, everything in the spirit that you need to make it through, you know. And just like you brought out Isaiah 33:6, that wisdom and knowledge, you know, that's going to be the stability. Okay. That's how the Lord is going to keep the elect intact. You got it, bro.
Con. And I got a precept I want to pull up really quick. Bear with me one sec. Baba Kashaw.
We'll probably close up on that one. That was all I had.
Oh, that was all you had? Okay. Con. Well, with that being the case, I got another precept I'm going to pull up. It's going to be, well, you know, since that's the case, I got these last two precepts I want to bring out.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
So, This is Job chapter 1, verse 21. Well, I'm gonna start at verse 20. And we all know the cases of Job. Okay, so I don't even need to explain what was going through with Job, because we all know. You know what I'm saying? We should know. But this is an account, you know what I'm saying, to know, like you said, you know, the Lord can take away and he can give at any time. We need to know that and constantly fear him for that hey, just like he gave us the spirit, he can take it away. Just like he gave us certain things, he can take it away. Food, raiment, whatever the case is, take it away. Rain, brought the example in Kings, it's taken away. But within that being the case, the Lord will still make a way for his righteous men to see the light at the end of the tunnel, walk that direction, and diligently seek him, and know that he's going to reward them for whatever the case is, whatever the afflictions were, right? If we're willing to sacrifice certain things that we're comfortable with, that we do every day, you know, because ultimately, you know, the Lord accepts sacrifices. That sacrifice never went away. Only animal sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? But if we're willing to sacrifice things and know and accept the fact that he's going to get us taken care of, we get rid of these things that we're used to. Hey, man, he's going to get us taken care of, man, you know. But this is Job chapter 1, verse 21. Verse 20. Then Job arose, rent his mantle, which is his garment, shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshiped. All right. Job was going through some shit. And he was still able to put his face to the ground and worship Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. He didn't give up. Even his wife told him to curse the Lord and die, and he cursed her ass out. You know, and this is the account of it. Verse 21, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Listen to what he's just said afterward, though. Listen to what he says. Blessed be the name of Yahweh.
Yep.
Whatever the case is, man, he still gave glory to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And when you finish up reading Job, after he lost all those things, the Lord gave him tenfold. So with that being the case, we're going to receive all these things we lost in the kingdom. Or even like you might lose something at that moment and think you down and out, but you're going to receive the greater gain later on. It's just a test of integrity that's taking place, man. And that's paying attention to the smaller things, because the bigger things are, oh, I don't have this no more. Oh, I can't eat. Oh, it's not raining no more. Oh. But the Lord will send a raven down, feed you.
That's right.
The Lord will put the spirit on you to really think like, oh, I'm going to just walk this direction. Don't know why I'm walking this direction, but you look down and it's a little brook or a little creek that has purified water in it for you to drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, David and the showbread. David was in the temple. You know what I'm saying? And he seen the showbread, and the law says you ain't supposed to eat that. David ate it because he's like, what? I'm gonna starve and die. You know what I'm saying? Did the Lord mess David up for that? No, he got a blessing. That's an example in numerous scriptures of David going to the showbread and eating it. So there's always a way when you trust in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Once you understand that you are naked coming in and you're naked going out at the end of the day, you understand that just like the Lord can give you things, he can take it away. Guess what? He can still give you things too. He took it away. That don't mean he can't give you nothing right back. Exactly. He'll give you more of an abundance. When we understand it like that, if we're willing to sacrifice, get rid of the things that we're used to, and really just keep our eyes single and focus on the Lord, he's going to give us an abundance of more things. And we were going into the perils. We're going into Jacob's trouble, right?
Yeah, like Yahweh Shai said, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High, out of living power.
Yeah.
So, right. Bread, we don't live by bread alone. Okay. We live by the Spirit, that's how we're able to sustain and continue through the Spirit. But you got it, bro.
God, beautiful point, brother. Beautiful point. Within that being the case, the Spirit brought you out to say this. That leads me to this verse I want to bring out in 2nd Ezra 16. All right.
God.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready for the battle. And we know this is the ongoing battle right now between good and evil. Us versus the evil spirits. We know Satan's attacking. This is a battle. This is a warfare. But do we not think that that's not going to take into effect what's going to come when Esau gets to cracking down? The idea has to stem off first through the Spirit, and then actions take place afterwards. All right. So what we're doing right now is making ourselves ready for the battle. Whenever you go into a battle, you have to analyze the different conditions that is going to be presented in front of you and the things that you're going to have to sacrifice in order for the greater gain. Okay. So it says, make you ready for the battle, and in those evils be as pilgrims upon the earth. All right. And what are pilgrims? You had mentioned a statement earlier. Might have to be nomadic at times. Not even might. Scriptures say you're going to have to be. You're going to have to wander around, go different places. You know what I'm saying? Did you have something you was going to say?
No. I was just saying, Con.
Okay. Con, this is verse 41. He that selleth, let it be as he that fleeth away. He that buyeth, as one that will lose. He that buyeth as one that he will loose. Not lose, but loose. Right. He that occupieth merchandise, and he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth, as if he should not reap. Also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry, as they that shall get no children. They that marry not, as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. So these things we have to put in consideration. All these things that are presented down here. This goes into pretty much fruits of livelihood down here. You know what I'm saying? If you sell merchandise, that's how you receive your income. You marry, that's how you have children. You know what I'm saying? You got your woman. All these different things. But he's saying if you marry, still got to be it like you ain't married. You know what I'm saying? Because all these things are temporal. All this stuff is of the world. Now we use these things as a defense, as the scripture saying, Ecclesiastes, I believe the 7th chapter, wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. A few of these examples that were made of ways to receive money for a defense, but ultimately Yahweh is our defender. You know what I'm saying? But as that day approaches, as the perils approach, we have to understand that we can't hold on to those things as we travel because that's too much weight. You know what I'm saying? You can't carry all that weight. You know what they say? Pack light. Erica Badu, that bag lady.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Got to pack light, man, because it's going to have to be on the move. You know what I'm saying? And within that being the case, within you sacrificing those things, the Lord is going to give you what you need in smaller ways. But again, they're not really small. They're huge. But if you have spiritual eyes to see, he's going to bless you in certain ways if we were willing to sacrifice these things, knowing that salvation is nigh and knowing that perils are nigh as well. You know what I'm saying? As Yahweh Shai said, a rich man can't enter into the kingdom of heaven. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom. And a lot of people go into that verse and think that it's literally in the eye of a needle and a camel can't go through it. But that pretty much means that when you have a wealthy individual that's riding on a camel and he's packing a bunch of things with him because he's rich. You know, he has, I got my riches, I got my jewels, my food, all these different things. But the gateway is only so small. And you and that camel ain't going to be able to fit when you got all that stuff on you. So you're going to have to get rid of it, man. It's impossible for somebody with all that substance to be able to go through that. This is the straight gate. You know, in order to understand that and know these things, we have to be willing to drop everything.
Hey, well,
you got
since you said that, I think it was Peter and Simon. When they were casting their nets, you know, when Yahweh Shai came and said, basically, come on, like, I'll make you fishers of men. All right. Did it say they went home and packed their bags first?
Right. Right.
You know, did it say they went home real quick just to, you know, get their stuff, get their belongings, and then go? No, it says it says straight away they dropped their nets and followed.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Yep. Peter and Andrew, and the same thing had happened. The same thing happened with James and John. They was on the boat with their daddy, fishing. And the Lord called them, and they just turned their head and just started going forward. You can imagine Zebedee like, but it's beautiful because when you go into the walk of the ministry, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't a new custom. When you go into the ancient prophets around the time of Kings with Elijah and Elisha, the same thing happened with Elisha. When Elijah went over to the land where Elisha was a farmer. You know what I'm saying? When the Spirit came to Elijah to tell him that you're gonna go over there, you're gonna tell your servant Elisha to anoint Jehu to be king. You're gonna go to Elisha and tell him to put everything down and follow you. You know what I'm saying? And when Elijah went over there, Elisha, it said he had 12 oxen. You know what I'm saying? And he was a husbandman. You know what I'm saying? That was his job. That was his profession. That was his business. He had 12 oxen. When it went over there, you know, the first thing he told Elisha about it, Elisha was like, oh, God. You know what I'm saying? He said, can I first go to my mother and my father to kiss them farewell? Because I'm about to leave. And he said, hey, man, this ain't me telling you to do this. The Lord told you to do this. So you can go ahead. I ain't going to bid you. You know what I'm saying? He did that right afterwards. When you read it, it says he cut up those 12 oxen and boiled them. You know what I'm saying? And then walked with Elijah. When you go into cutting up those 12 oxen and boiling them, that means, because that was his profession. 12 oxen wasn't cheap. That was a large amount of money. That was bread, bro. Bread. Yep. What's 12 times 3? 12 times 3 is 36, right?
36, yep.
When you really look at cattle and oxen now, it's about $3,000 to $4,000 a cow for real, man. So that's about $36,000 worth of cattle that he had, man. And he was able to chop it up and boil it and get rid of it instantly. Meaning, when you look at it spiritually, his profession he put to the side. He casted it all aside. His parents, his family, all that, just to walk with with Elijah. You know what I'm saying? To serve the Lord. And we use these accounts of Peter and Andrew, James and John, you know, Elijah and Elisha, these different examples that are written of them putting back the things that they've done that they knew they made money from. That was their profession. That was their job, to follow the Lord, because they know they was going to receive the greater gain out of it. And we have to have that same mindset, especially as this day approaches. You know what I'm saying? To put these things aside, we should be quick to put these things aside. You know, Yahweh even said, hey, man, sell everything that you got. Sell everything. Don't take nothing with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All that symbolic, it was symbolic, and it meant something. You know what I'm saying? And it meant that we got to be ready to put these things away, because these blessings that the Lord will give us is way more superior than any carnal thing that we have, and any carnal thing that we're going through that gives us this carnal money. Because the greater gain is the kingdom of heaven, and building and feeding the sheep. You know what I'm saying? Professing his ministry, you know, seeking the Lord diligently. That's what that goes into. You got it, brother.
Hey, that's exactly right, bro. Hey, that's the spirit. I don't even really have too much to add to that, to be honest. Did you have more on that?
No, that's it, brother.
Yeah. Hey, just like you were saying, man, you know, we gotta pack light, man. We can't really get too caught up with our possessions, man, because ultimately that's gonna hold us back and hinder us. You know, we have to be ready to go. You know, when the spirit gives us the green light, you know, we have to basically drop everything and just go. You know, when you know, Yahweh Shai calls, all right, for us to basically be nomadic and, you know, carry out his ministry to the next level. Okay, we can't have anything that's in our way, you know. So hey, Lord willing, you brothers were edified through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. We want to give our praises to
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash.
Khan, double honors to our elders and apostles. Shalom.
Shalom.